Today we're going to talk about another type of modifier, the adverb. So, like adjectives, adverbs also act as modifiers, but instead of modifying nouns, they modify three other parts of speech: verbs, adjectives, and even other adverbs. So, if you look at the example sentences at the bottom here, our first one says, she ran quickly. In that case, quickly is an adverb modifying ran, which is a verb, so it's just telling us how she ran. Our second sentence says, she is really funny. Now, here, really is an adverb that's modifying funny, which is an adjective. It's telling us how funny she is. And in the third sentence, we have, she ran very quickly. Now, here, you might recognize quickly as being an adverb, which is correct, but in this case, I'm concerned with very, which is also an adverb, and in this case, it's modifying quickly. So quickly is modifying ran, very is modifying quickly. Now, we commonly think of adverbs as ending in ly, and that's generally true. See what I did there? Commonly and generally were both adverbs in that last sentence. But remember, we also want to ask ourselves what words are doing in a sentence rather than just like memorizing a formula or something like that. So not all words that end in ly are adverbs. For example, if I told you my dog was friendly, friendly would be an adjective because it's modifying dog. If I told you that my neighbor is a real bully, bully would be a noun. So pay attention to how the words are functioning in the sentence and familiarize yourself with some common adverbs that don't end in ly, such as not, then, now, never, soon, far, to, and very. So by now you should know that we can't just memorize lists of words and have an understanding of their part of speech. Remember, I don't really care that much about the part of speech. That's just a category of vocabulary we use to talk about what a word is doing in a sentence. Here's something you should memorize though, the different functions of adverbs and adjectives. So adverbs in yellow up here provide information to answer these questions: when, where, how, and to what extent. Adjectives in blue provide information to answer these questions: which one, what kind, how much, how many, or whose. Now, at some point, 19th century American author Mark Twain supposedly said, if you see an adjective, kill it. And Ernest Hemingway had similar thoughts about adverbs. The idea is that modifiers such as these can be crutches to language. So instead of precise language, like the word lavender, you rely on cheap shortcuts like light purple. And many English teachers agree. Precise language is better than fluffy adjective and adverb-laden language. But it's not just me or these rather stodgy looking fellows up here who say this. Now, I know by now you're probably thinking, wow, Mrs. Dusto is a super grammar nerd. But there's someone who's even nerdier about adverbs than I am. Ben Blatt is a journalist who used math to track the use of words in literature, and he uncovered patterns in writing through statistics. It cannot possibly get any nerdier than that. But it also gives us some insight into effective writing. So listen to what he found. Ernest Hemingway, our 20th century American author, who kind of paved the way for stripped down language, used only 80 adverbs per 10,000 words in his writing on average. So 0.8% of his words were adverbs. Now, Stephanie Meyer, the author of the Twilight series, used 134 adverbs per 10,000 words. That's 1.34%. Now, I know both numbers are small, but Meyer's rate is about 50% higher than Hemingway's. Her status in the literary canon is, well, not 50% higher than Hemingway's. And here's another fun fact. The Great Gatsby is considered F. Scott Fitzgerald's best book and possibly the great American novel in all caps. But don't get me started. That's a whole other screencast. Now, out of all of his works, that novel has the fewest adverbs. So does this mean you should never use adverbs? Of course not. And remember, never and not are both adverbs. But what this does suggest is that you should think about your focus in your writing. So Ben Blatt suggests that adverb use is indicative of a writer's focus. And he says, quote, an author writing with the clarity needed to describe vivid scenes and actions without adverbs, taking the time to whittle away the unnecessary words, might also be spending more time and effort making the rest of the text as perfect as possible. So just something to keep in mind. Before you put away your notes for today, go ahead and pause here to try your hand at revising these sentences. So what I'd like you to do is to eliminate the modifiers and instead revise them with more precise language. We'll go over these in class.